Hey everyone, welcome back to NDC. Let's say you have a form and a user taps in the price field and brings up the keyboard. There's no easy way to get rid of this decimal pad easily. On the regular keyboard, we can press return to dismiss or go to the next section. And this is one of the most common pain points on iOS forms, and SwiftUI doesn't solve it for you out of the box. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways to fix it. Starting off with my favorite fix, which is the done button. So when we're all done, we just press the done button and the keyboard dismisses. And it's actually really easy to add. So let's go ahead and dive on in so you can learn how to add this to your SwiftUI apps. Okay, and to test our scenario, I'm just going to start off in a templated SwiftUI project. I'm going to create a couple state private vars. First one is going to be the amount, and the second one is going to be a private var of notes, just in case you wanted to follow along. We're going to put this inside of a form, and we're going to have a text field, and this is where we're going to be grabbing the amount from the user, and that text is going to be based off the binding of amount. And we're going to set that keyboard type to be the decimal pad. So if your user were to be typing in their hours, the amount that they're paying for something or earning, right, using that decimal pad does look great, but unfortunately, as we'll see in just a moment here, doesn't allow the user to automatically or very easily get out of that keyboard. So we're going to have our text of notes in the second text field here. Okay, so we're actually going to run this on the simulator as the preview doesn't support the keyboard. So we're going to go ahead and launch this in the simulator to test it out. Okay, and here's our super basic app. So if we were to go to the amount and we were to press on it, again, if we were using a physical device, we'd use our finger. And we can use Command K on the simulator to bring up the keyboard. Now you can see this is perfect. Like, let's say my amount I'm charging is 15.99. Amazing. Now, if I'm pressing anywhere else on the screen, you can even see I'm trying to scroll, this keyboard will not dismiss. I have no way of dismissing this in a clean, user-friendly way. If I were to press on notes, it would take me to this other keyboard, and everything's fine there. We can press return on the notes and then we can dismiss the keyboard. But there's no return option on the decimal pad. So there's 3 ways to fix this. We're going to start with the best one, which is the keyboard toolbar. In Xcode, the cleanest solution is a done button that appears in a toolbar above the keyboard itself. SwiftUI actually gives us the toolbar placement of keyboard exactly for this. So we're going to go to the top of our structure here, and with our state private variables, we're going to add a @FocusState private var. And we're going to call this isAmountFocused. And this is actually a Boolean value, so we're going to mark it as such. This focus state exists to programmatically dismiss the keyboard. Under our text field, where we have the keyboard type of decimal pad, we'll add the .focused. Within the argument brackets, we're going to look at the binding of isAmountFocused. This way we can keep track of the focus state. After our form, we're going to add our toolbar. We'll then add a brace, and we'll add a toolbar item. For this toolbar item, we're going to use that placement of the .keyboard. We can see the item is placed in the keyboard section. We're going to remove the content here, and instead we'll add our custom braces, and we'll have a button that just says done. Add a brace for the button, and we're just going to be taking that isAmountFocused, and we're going to be flipping that to be false. We can also add a frame for this button, and for this I'm going to have a max width, and I'm going to set that to be .infinity. We can also include some alignment of .trailing, and if we really want to, we can also add some button style, my favorite of bordered prominent. We're going to go ahead and launch this on the simulator once again, or if you want to test it on your real device, feel free to do so. Okay, and while this is booting up, I want to talk about 2 main things. This focus state up here is a Boolean. It's considered true when the field has focus. So when we have the keyboard up, it'll be true. Then false when it doesn't. Setting it to false actually dismisses the keyboard, which we'll see in a moment. And I've also added the frame with the max width infinity and the alignment of trailing. Without this, the button will kind of sit on the left, and this pushes it to the trailing edge, which is where a user expects that done button to be. Okay, let's click on our amount again here. There's our keyboard, and now we have this done button. We've set the max width to be infinity. You can stylize this button as much as you want. If you want it to be kind of more of a rounded pill, it's up to you. But let's go ahead and type in a number. So I'll do 58.47. And now when we press done, the keyboard dismisses. You can remove the max width if you want. How you design your button is totally up to you though. As you can see, without that max width, it kind of just sits in the center here. So the focus state with the done button is kind of the simplest form, but sometimes you want a more gesture-driven feel. Tapping anywhere outside the field to dismiss the keyboard is where there's no button required, and some apps actually prefer this. The approach is to use focus state once again with an optional enum to track which field is focused, and then add a tap gesture anywhere in the background. So let's edit our view. We're still going to have our focus state, which is still a private var, but we're going to change this to instead be the focused field. And this is going to conform to field marked optional. What is field? Well, we have to create an enum for that. We'll call it field. And we'll have two cases. The first one, amount. The second one being notes. We can also go ahead and get rid of our toolbar. Don't worry, I'll have a GitHub repo with the toolbar version if you want to reference it later. We're going to be keeping our dot focused. However, instead of the is amount focused, we're going to have the binding of focused field, and we're going to use the comma equals, and we're going to be looking at the dot amount because this is for the amount text field. That means after our notes, we'll have the dot focused as well. Once again, with the binding of focused field, this one's going to instead equals the dot notes from that enum. Something I'd recommend doing now is at the bottom of the form, or however you have your background, is to have the dot on tap gesture. For the code, we're going to have the focused field to equal nil. Essentially, we want to clear it. Let's go ahead and run this again. But essentially, setting the focus field to nil removes focus from everything and should collapse the keyboard. This enum approach that we're doing scales better when you do have multiple fields, and you can also use it to advance focus in a sequence, like tapping next to moving from field to field within those enums. So let's go ahead and try this out. There's our keyboard. We should be able to press on the background, and notice as I tap on the background, it's getting rid of that keyboard. We can also go to the notes, and it'll just swap the focus still pretty seamlessly. One caveat here that we have with the on tap gesture on a form, it can sometimes interfere with tapping cells. If you do run into that, you can also use the .toolbar with a dismiss environment action, or wrap the form in a Z-stack with a transparent tap layer behind it. That might solve your issues there. The last method I want to talk about is the scroll to dismiss. So if your form is inside a scroll view, iOS 16 and above gives you a one-liner. I'm just going to quickly change this to be a scroll view. And instead of a form, we'll just do a V-stack. Looks a little bit cursed on the preview. Let's go ahead and add the text field border. So rounded border to both of these. And I'll just add a little bit of padding on the bottom, just so it's a little bit cleaner. So what we should do is at the bottom of our scroll view, we can add the .scrollDismissesKeyboard. So there's a few options. There's automatic, immediately, which is what we're going to be exploring. That means the moment that the user starts scrolling, the keyboard drops, no button needed, no tap gesture, it just gets out of the way. The other option being interactively. This ties the keyboard position to the scroll gesture, and never, which is the default, which would not dismiss it. Let's set it to immediately, and we'll also comment off our on tap gesture here. And we can comment off the focus as well. Okay, let's go ahead and run it on our simulator. So we've opened up our amounts. Now I'm going to start scrolling, and you'll notice it immediately gets dismissed. We go to our notes, exact same thing. So we didn't have to tag each of these keyboards with the focus. As soon as the user starts scrolling in either direction, it will dismiss that keyboard. So when should you use each one of them? I would recommend using the done button or that keyboard toolbar that we have here. Don't worry, all of this will be in the GitHub repo below. When you have a form with a number or decimal pad, it's explicit, accessible, and users understand it immediately. You can use the tap to dismiss or the focus field view as a secondary layer. You can also combine it with the toolbar if you want both. And finally, that scroll to dismiss for any content-heavy scrollable views where the keyboard just needs to kind of get out of the way. And if you really want, you could use all three together. They do stack fine. So those 3 lines of code that you'll use in basically every app that handles numbers. For instance, if I had an app that was logging expenses like we have here, 0.5, right, and say I want to be done with this, I can just press on that done button. It's very user-friendly. So if this saved you time or improved the user experience of your app, definitely subscribe. I cover exactly these kind of small SwiftUI pain points and different SwiftUI APIs all the time. Otherwise, dream big, code bigger, GitHub repo with comments in the description below, and thanks for watching.